For this video, I'm going to give a quick introduction in how to do texture painting on an object in Blender. This is really just bare bones. How do you get started? How do you set it up? I'm going to create a cube. If you're painting a custom model, then you're going to need to do the UVs for it. With these primitives in Blender, they already have automatically generated UVs, so I'm just going to use those. You can see them if I just go to the UV editor. This is the cube UVs. So over here, in order to do the texture painting, I have to go through a few steps. The first thing is I need to create a new material for the object. So over here in that side panel, I'm going to click on the second to last icon, Material Properties. There you can see there's a new button. I'm going to create a new material for it. It's a nice practice to rename your materials to something custom. I'll call this Cube Matte. The next step is I need to create or generate a texture that will actually be what we paint into. So to do that, I'm going to go down to that last icon, Texture Properties. Once again, you'll see a new button. There are lots of different types of textures you can create. This one, we want to just create a new image texture. So that's the type, but then we actually have to, again, actually create the actual image, the actual file. This is a little bit tricky because we're not actually saving a file. We're sort of setting Blender up later on so that if we want to save it, we can. And I'll step through that in a little bit. So I'm going to click on the new icon, and you can see we get the ability to give it a name. Again, it's a nice practice to rename things. This I'll call Cube Color. You could choose a resolution. 1024 is fine in this case. If you're thinking about doing something like opacity, using your alpha channel for opacity, that's where something like this would come into play. So I'll just hit OK in this case. So I just created that internally, that image called Cube Color. I need to go back now to my material and plug that texture into my base color. Now this is something you could do separately with the shader editor, but we can just do it quite simply in here by clicking on the dot beside base color. Choose an image texture, and then you'll see there's a little drop down right below there, and you'll notice if I click on that, there's Cube Color. Great. Okay. Now if we go over here to our texture paint, I didn't show this before, and actually I can if I just, let's see if I just close that up. This is what it will look like by default. You'll see this sort of magenta color. That's an indication in Blender that there are no textures visible. So I'm going to go back over here again and select my cube color so that I'm actually painting on that. Okay, so let me just zoom out over here. Now also you may have, if you're using the default layout, you may have these two windows swapped, but it's generally the same idea. So just with, as with a lot of other panels, T will open up that left side tool panel, and N will open up the sort of settings on the right there. Again, you can ignore the fact that I've got a million other separate kinds of tabs over here. The important one is this tool tab that shows basically your paint tool settings. So very quickly, what I'll do is you can see we've got some basic paint tools. Paintbrush, soften, smear, clone, fill, mask, all that stuff. And I'm going to just go over to the fill tool. Again, you need to make sure that the tool is the active tab over on the right here. And I can just choose some color if I want to fill that in. Maybe I'll do it like yellow. And then if I just say click on there, you can see I can either do it, by the way, in the 3D viewport. Looks like I can't do it in the 2D viewport, so fills seems to be limited just over here to the 3D viewport. On the other hand, if I go back now to the draw or paint, and I'll choose a different color, oops, I've got some weird setting over here. If that comes up for you, I just need to go down here to texture and just turn off the texture. So now you can see I can paint in the 3D view. It looks like I need to switch this over to paint. Now we're getting somewhere. Now I can paint over here in this 2D view. So actually that might be what was keeping me from filling up. I still can't do the fill over on the 2D view. Okay, so you can see I can paint in the 2D view, I can paint in the 3D view, switch my color. We have the kind of standard for a lot of different things in Blender, which is if you press F and then left click drag. Actually, you don't even have to left click, you just drag your mouse button, your cursor left to right. Now you get a smaller icon. Sorry, smaller brush size. And so this is the short demo in how to do texture painting. Now, once you have all that stuff done, you'll notice here in the paint view, in the 2D view, you'll see there's a little menu for image, and you'll notice that there is an asterisk beside it. That is a little key that you haven't actually saved this image. So I'm going to click on that, and what I can do here is I can go to Save As. Just bring this panel over here, and so now I can say, for instance, go to my desktop. There's my cube color. You can do whatever file format you want over here. I'm going to choose Targa since that's my special favorite. There it is, cubecolor.targa, and I'm going to save this image. And now you can see there's no more asterisk beside that image menu. That's an indication that it has in fact been saved. Alright, that's what I'm going to show for now.